I had an amazing transformation this week at the week-long intensive with Joe. I came in to the event and I had a lot of emotional trauma that I was holding on to. I've been going through a lot of stress through my work and my business, and I feel like I've really been holding on to that. But beyond that, there's deeper layers, and it goes all the way back to childhood, as I'm sure it does for many of us who are doing the work. And I want to just take a moment to be super authentic and vulnerable here, but basically between the ages of 10 to 12, I was sexually abused by one of my coaches. I was a competitive gymnast, and he ended up going to jail for abusing other kids on my team. And when I had teachers and coaches and parents coming up to me asking if it happened to me, I said no. And I just went into a dark inner cave, and I basically stopped evolving emotionally at the age of 12. And that was incredibly challenging for me. When I was 12, after he went to jail, I was so depressed and in so much pain of having the secret that I wanted to end my own life. And at one point, I decided that I was going to end my life, and I was about to do it, and all of a sudden God spoke to me and said, "My son, you can either come and be with me, and that's okay, or you can stay here and you can heal this for yourself and for the world." And so I made the decision at that moment that I was going to stay, and that I would commit my life to service and to serving the divine. And so from there, I continued my journey on my spiritual quest to find my truth, to find out what is it that I'm here for. And throughout the process, I call myself a recovering Christian because I had to go through that dogma in order to find a deeper connection with the source, with the spirit. And ultimately, it led me to finding Joe's work. And when I connected with Joe's work, it was actually at the World Congress of Quantum Medicine in Hawaii. That's when I first found him on What the Bleep, and then met him physically there, and started doing the meditations. And I've been doing the meditations over the years, but until the last couple years, my personal transformation has been, really accelerating. But this week when I was in the retreat, I was sitting in meditation, and I still felt this deep inner pain from my trauma. And I couldn't figure out why that was. Why does it keep coming back? And I was sitting there and I was asking God, please help me, please help me. And I immediately was thinking about how Joe is always saying, so often people are begging to the Creator to please help us, when it's like we are it, it is us. And so I suddenly had this moment where my eyes were closed, and all of a sudden I'm sitting in front of God. I'm sitting in front of the Spirit, and it was just an entity of light, but I knew that it was God. And I was realizing that the reason I'm here, the reason why I stayed, was to serve you, for service. I was called to be here to serve you. And I said, let me serve you. How can I serve you? And I just started asking, how can I be of support to you? How can I serve? And suddenly these two entities shifted, and suddenly it was God in my body, this light body inside of my body, saying, let me serve you, let me serve you. How can I serve you? And so suddenly it was like I was fully embodied in the presence of God, and I just broke down into tears, and I fell down to the ground, and I just put my face to the ground, and it was a total moment of union with that divine entity that is my identification, my oneness, my point of source. But ultimately it just was so meaningful to me to have that experience, and after that I was finally able to be fully set free from my body. And from then on I started having these incredible visions, and there were 3 instances where I was given these visions of the Akashic records, the cosmic Akash, and the way that it's appeared to me was, and it was interesting because Joe was talking about how he needs a laser, right? There's this barcode, right? The universe is telling him he needs a barcode, and I saw the barcode. And this was before he even said it. It was a blue dot that was like a laser, and it projected this fan of images. A fan of images that correlated to this number. There was 3 rows of numbers, and the numbers at the beginning and at the end were changing. It was blue holographic image, and as I would turn my head, the numbers would shift and change, and so would the correlating images, and I could actually look through these images. And so suddenly it was like, I was just flipping through these images and like seeing different realities. In another meditation, I was surrounded by a wheel that was like a holographic circular cylinder, and I was spinning this wheel around, and I could just put my finger onto it and tap into different images and memories from the Akashic records. And so from then on out, from the moment that I was able to have that experience, I was completely set free from all of this trauma, and I just remembered why I was here, and it had such a profound effect on me. In the beginning, like I was coming in with a lot of stress because my flight was canceled getting here, and so I was already late, and so I was already feeling like I was running late, you know, and so I had this kind of emotional thing that was holding me back from fully surrendering into the present moment, from totally melting into the void. But over time, I was really just like, Joe encouraged me so much to just keep doing the work and keep pushing and go there, go to the void, let it go. Just like continually emerging. And as I painted layers of understanding on my understanding of how the meditations work, and then how to actually do it, actually testing out in the field, I was able to go further. And there was one instance where I couldn't get out of my body, and I was just struggling. I was like trying to go, but I was just still in my body. And so suddenly I was like, you know what? I need to get out of here as fast as possible. And so I opened up a wormhole, and I just went through this wormhole, and I started going through time and space, and it was like that screensaver where the stars are going by you, and I'm going through, and I'm going faster and faster and faster, and I could feel my body wanting to catch me, right? It was like my body's like, I'm coming for you, and I was like, I'm getting the f out of here, and so I'm going so fast, and then suddenly, boom, I hit light speed. Right? The stars just spread out. And the moment I hit light speed, that's when I heard Joe in my head saying, the moment that you get past the speed of light, that's when you go quantum, right? That's when you go particle, that's when you go subatomic particle. And the moment that happened, man, boom, I just went, and everything melted. My entire body melted. And the moment that happened, that's when I just started running my mind movie and running my affirmations. I am powerful, I am strong, I was just integrating it into my body. I am so grateful for this experience. I'm so deeply transformed and moved. I'm so committed to continuing to cultivate the work, the groundwork that has been established in my brain, in my body, in my heart, in my soul. Like from this moment forward, I commit to embodying the best version of myself. My future self is now, like I am it. And when Joe asked, like, if you could tap into a future potential, like what would that look like? And I thought about it, and I was like, man, I'm living my dream. Like I've been doing the work for so long. I've been like working relentlessly, but the only thing I want to change is my emotional body. That's it. It's this thing, and it's this, and it's my personality. It's my personal reality that is elevating right now in this moment. And as I let go of that past stuff, I just, all of a sudden, like I'm opened up to the infinite to reorganize. And so now I just call in the divine to make itself within my body and in my life in perfect harmony and perfect order, so that I can bring this work forward into the world in the best way that I can possible.